So they just released a brand new teaser for Nautica, and I'm going to go over it for the first time. And starting off, we have a loading menu, which also has some inspirational quotes at the bottom. I do like that. And what we see in the background is like a very nice bridge. I think that's very detailed. So if this is what's coming to Nautica, I think that's going to be very, very nice. And we have a ship right there. It's in a dry dock at the moment. As you can see, we have Bornholm in the background there again. And we have a nice menu that comes out from the left. And then it says Play, Jobs, Shipyard, Trade, Shop, Settings and Info. So this is a very interesting looking menu. And let's see what goes on next. So we're going into the Info tab right there. And now we're in the Info tab. So now let's take a look at this. We've got player stats, server info. We've got generally like the announcements of what's added. And maybe an update log, I assume. Then we have on the left, our game wouldn't be the same without the help of, and then a long list of people. So we've got a few recognizable names in there. And then we're gonna go on and move to the settings. And now something very interesting that we see here is a difficulty slider. And it starts off at advanced. So this actually says most operations are manual, 115% of normal income for mega nerds. So this means that if you play on the advanced setting, you will get to do more configurations with your ship. It's going to be more controls and it's going to be a little bit harder, I assume, to steer or navigate your ship. But you will be rewarded more money for your trips. So this will make you 15% more than what you normally get. And then they slide the slider down to normal and we see that the text changes to the way the game is meant to be played. No income modifiers and some operations are manual. So I assume that this is going to be more like the DSS III kind of way that you have to play. Maybe even a little bit more in depth. I don't know, but we'll see when it first comes out. And then he slides it down to the arcade type difficulty. And this is where most of the things are automated for you. 85% of the normal income, so they will make less money on this setting. And it's very similar to DSS III. So what I said earlier, I think is going to be like more in-depth than DSS III. I think there's going to be more controls like dock thrusters maybe, I'm not sure. We'll have to wait and see for that. But if you play on arcade, I assume this is going to be the easiest mode to play on. But this will also mean that you will not make as much money. So this will actually take 15% of your normal income. Now looking further down, we have a wave refresh rate, which is now set to 60 Hz. So I assume that this is going to play a big role in like the type of waves that you're gonna get. Maybe the smoothness of the waves. So this will also, oh yeah, it says it right there, animations are more smooth, so the hardware will take more work to generate that. So this is going to be quite hard on your hardware, I assume. So if your computer is like on the lower end of the budget, then I assume you might want to turn this setting down, but for now I think this might be good for all computers. And even further down we can see that there is menu music, so now you can choose between like different songs, so that's what I like a lot. I also made the little like song trailer, I guess, so I know a lot. I've worked with these songs before, I do like them a lot, so that's the songs that you get to choose. I'm assuming there's 3 of them. And looking at the top left, there's something new, which is AI ships. So this is going to be very interesting. So if you want to see like AI ships moving around, I think this is not in the game yet, but this might be implemented in a later stage. But this will mean that you will see ships out there which are not piloted by a player. Then we have distant buildings. I guess you could turn that off to like lower the graphics settings and maybe alleviate some of that processor speed that you have on the computer. Take some of that away, so you have to render less stuff and maybe have a more smooth gameplay for you. Then we have distant trees. Distant trees can be all turned off. I think this is mostly like settings for the quality. Then we have PvP, which I see no settings in yet, so I assume that this is either going to be on or off. not depending on like which type of ship, so just like in the beginning of DSS III. Then we have crew invites, which does seem like a very interesting thing. So this might mean that you will be able to work with a deck crew, maybe someone who does like stuff on your bridge and stuff, I don't know. This sounds very interesting. Then we have names above islands. I think that's a very interesting setting as well, so you can see like actually where you're going. This is going to be a little bit more arcadey, I assume, I'm not sure. And then we have names above ships, so this is going to be the names of the people sailing them, I assume, I'm not sure. Maybe it's the names of the ship itself, I don't know. We'll see. And now we're moving on to the shipyard menu, and as you can see the boat kind of gets lifted out of the dry dock, and now we get some settings that we get to customize on the ship. So this is very cool. Let's take a look at what they have added here. And first he moves on to the mast, and let's take a look at that. So you can actually replace the mast. I don't know why it says ×2 there. Maybe you can get this along like the more times you've played, I don't know. Maybe this is pieces that you need to gather, I'm not sure. And we also have the mast, we have the bridge, and we have the crane that we can all change, so this is very interesting. You can cycle between those. There's cargo which you can change, I assume. There's propeller upgrades, maybe thruster upgrades. I assume that this is going to be very nice. I love these little things that you can edit your little ship. It's amazing, I think this is great. So all these tiny details, I think it adds to the game, it makes it more wholesome. I like this style of game. And onto the right there it says repaint ship, so now we can select between different categories. As far as we can see, we have the hull, we have the bridge, we have the mast, and we have the crane. However, you can see that he can expand the hull, and then we can change the keel, the trim, the upper hull, and all of that cool stuff. So this means that it's a lot more customizable, especially compared to DSS III. There's like individual lines that you might be able to like put on different colors, maybe like a sort of trim. So I think this is a very nice thing, good addition to the game. And then again you can see like the color selector, which is kind of the same as in DSS III, so there's not much that changed there. One very interesting thing though that I just noticed is the tow ship function. So I assume that this is going to be for tugging, maybe towing it out of port. That seems very cool, but I don't know how this works yet. So we'll see about that. And now let's set sail. And as we can see there, the dry dock fills up with water, and there the gate opens for us to sail out. And then the game very smoothly zooms into our position of where we are under the bridge. It's a very nice animation, I like that. And then we get control of the ship. Starting off, you can hear a very nice hum of the ship, so this is the engine, I assume. There's going to be different sounds for the engine idling, so at low power or at high power, so I think that's very cool. Taking a look at the bridge, it's very slim, very close. I don't really like that, but it still looks very good, I do like that. And once we go out of the docks there, we get a menu on the bottom right. Now I assume that there is either 3 categories on here, except for the speed of course. That is the fuel, then you have the acceleration, which can go forwards or backwards, and then we have what I assume is going to be damage, which is the engine icon. And then of course, not to forget, in the middle you have 7 knots right there. I assume that's going to be like your speed dial. I really hope that you can change this quite a bit, because right now it seems like it takes up a large area of your screen, and maybe there's going to be like a way to change that, make it more slim or make it more hidden, maybe hide the UI just like in DSS III, but this takes up a lot of space on your monitor. And it seems like you get more control of the horn, like how long it blares. Just like you heard there, it's a very nice horn. It's got like this foghorn to it, I don't know. One other thing that I've noticed is the smoke coming out of the smokestack. I really like that a lot. The smoke is very nice. And maybe one big thing which I haven't talked about yet is what you get to see here, which is the waves. Right here you can see like the base version of the waves. I think this is a very interesting way of making the waves. They're very calm, I would say now, but I assume that the further out you go, the more wild the waves get. And right here we saw something very interesting. We just jumped out of the seat and we can see that we have to press E to sit in the pilot seat or the captain seat. And you can also see like right there for a split second that you can also select like the railing. Let me see what it says there. You can pick up a mooring line right there, and I assume that's going to be for docking, so that's a very interesting thing as well, which is also activated by E. And now it looks like Jordan is going for a little swim. And what we also have is a little O2 meter at the bottom right, so now it's not just your health draining or you need to wear like the special scuba diving gear. Now we have an O2 meter, which I assume will also be added with a scuba gear set in this game as well. One thing I've also noticed is that the sounds for being underwater are the same as in DSS IV. I don't know if they will change this, but we'll have to see and wait how this plays out. And now one very cool thing that you can see is that if you press spacebar near a shore or like near like one of those docking yards, you can see that you actually kind of grab onto the ledge and have a little animation crawling up. I think that's a cool thing as well. I hope this is also for the ships, because you shouldn't really be in the water in real life as well. I don't think you want to swim out in the sea. But that's pretty much it on the video. We can see a lot of little details in the back there as well, like stuff I didn't talk about, like the windmills already spinning. I think that's a very nice addition to the game. Then the islands, they look very good as well, but this is all like alpha development, so I'm not really going to say like this is going to be definitely into the game, this is not, I don't know, because they might still change a lot of stuff to this game. But I think that this already looks very promising. I will go more in depth on other things if they leak more, but this is all I had for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Bye bye.